Spotlight Media presents the Second Generation Talk podcast, a podcast by the second generation for the second generation.
Welcome to the Second Generation Talk, a podcast by the second generation for the second generation. I'm your host, Shreya Parajuli, and our title sponsor is JDM Title LLC and Spring Hill Real Estate, Realtor Ram Mishra. Our media sponsor is Nepal Talks, Ananta, Nepal, North Carolina. Our mortgage partner is One Mortgage Inc., Devdas Rajbhak, and our insurance partner is State Farm, Nirmal Atria. And today we have with us Miss Pooja Paudel, who got her undergrad at Grand Canyon, currently working as a nurse, and then also doing your master's at Chamberlain. So welcome to the show, Pooja.
Thank you, Shreya, for having me.
Well, I'm very excited to hear all about, your life, your story, everything, but is there anything you want to add to your introduction before we kind of get started?
Yes, my name is Pooja Paudel, like she already said. I came to America at a very young age with my family, like most of us, I think, can relate.
Right.
I got my nursing degree, which was kind of in my head from back when I was, 10 years old.
Right.
Since my mom was always in the healthcare, and then I went on to get my bachelor's, and now I'm doing nurse practitioner in psychiatric mental health.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, I guess we'll dive into how that entire journey started. Yeah. So I guess let's just start from the very beginning. You said you came here when you were relatively young. I guess what kind of drew you, into like the healthcare field, nursing, all of that? Was it primarily your mom, or were there other influences and factors?
Yeah, like in most Nepali community, I feel like three mainstream, I would say, is either going to medical field, going to IT, or be some sort of engineer.
Right.
So my interest always laid towards healthcare because my mom has been in various sorts of INGOs back in Nepal. She used to help a lot of women with their mental health and with their reproductive health. Back home, she was a counselor, and a great one to mention. So I think her taking me, like I take your kid to work day, going to work, watching her do her thing, and then seeing other like fearless ladies, do their thing was really inspiring. And I think since a very young age, it was just imprinted in me that I wanted to do something in health, but obviously I didn't know what until I was ripe age of 18.
When you had to figure out what college you wanted to go to.
And that's when I was 17 when I came here with my family.
Okay.
So it was like that pivotal time in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do in long term, but I took a year gap, which I think is very important for most kids, and the parents allowing that flexibility to not force you to go to college if you don't know what you want to do.
Right.
So I took a year to figure it out. I would say about 9 months to figure it out.
Right.
And slowly I went into Nova.
Okay.
To get my prereqs and all of that good stuff, and then I ended up getting my RN degree. Associates first, and I wanted to get my RN to BSN, bachelor's through Grand Canyon University. And the journey started there, and I became a nurse.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. I guess what resources helped you figure out, what part of, the medical field you wanted to get into, like nursing? You said Nova to then Grand Canyon. So in those 9 months, I guess, what did you do to try to figure out what you wanted to do?
All the awesome nurses around in the Nova area.
Okay.
They were awesome. My mom had some good friends by that time who we had met through, the social gatherings and all that good stuff. So we used to meet people. My mom used to meet these great nurses who've been nurses for years, decades at this point. She would say, my daughter needs some guidance, would you please? And they were so kind and helpful.
That's so sweet.
They know who I'm talking about.
Shout out to the people watching.
They know who I'm talking about. They guided me so lovingly, like I was their own daughter, in this community. I think that's really important. And they gave me ideas. Hey, you can go to this. You can do this. If you need help with this, go here. Something I would never have figured out Googling it.
Right. That's fair.
Because Google is such a vast area of information. You would just dive in and you're lost. But these ladies were awesome, and they showed me the way. And that really helped me get an idea of what I wanted to do and how I could achieve that.
Right. And that's very sweet, because it also shows that, there are people out there that do want to help if you just reach out. And the fact that your mom had such a broad connection, I think really helped. So I guess your college experience, how was it? Do you feel like, coming to the States when you were 17 kind of, helped you, hurt you? Did you feel like sometimes you were not like Nepali enough, sometimes not American enough. Like, was it a difficult transition, would you say?
Yes, I would say yes.
Okay.
And the reason is because at 17, 18, I feel like that's when you're actually figuring out life and who you are as a person.
Right.
You're still developing your characters, your interests, your personality. So I think coming here at that age, having no group of friend circle, that really made a difference for me. Kind of lonely for a few months, I would say, until I started going out and meeting more Nepali community and meeting kids of my age at that point. Then I felt like, okay, I belong here too. You know, I can make friends here too. I have people, like-minded people here too. That really helped me. And cultural-wise, yes, it was kind of a shock in the beginning because coming from Nepal, it's a whole different environment culturally. And I come over here, and then I realize it's a whole different way. Parents are more supportive of their kids' passion, I would say. Dreams, yes, but passion is a whole different thing. It doesn't just have to be the mainstream. Passion could be anything. And then I realized that, and I knew my parents, it's their first time here too, so they're figuring it too. So it was important to be kind to them and myself, although it's not easy every day to have that kind of understanding. But I felt like just having that mindset and having a good group of friends, I would say, will take you far. Take you far and make you more patient and calmer.
And at the end of the day, I feel like you've had a really great support system who've helped you, you know, like a good group of friends, your family, clearly, which I think makes all the difference at the end of the day. So I guess college-wise, you did have a good experience though, right? You found your people, you felt supported by your professors, all that. I guess for people, you know, like trying to figure out like how to apply, how to get started, how was the process from like Nova to like an actual university? Was it relatively seamless? Did you feel like you were supported in figuring that out?
Yeah, absolutely. So Nova, you know, it's a little competitive to get into, but at the end of the day, all you have to do is get your prereqs right, get the requirements right, which they usually have it listed. As long as you have those on board, you're kind of ready to go over there. And once you get into the program, finish it, get your license as a RN, all you have to do is start working, which start work for about a year, and then you can enroll into RN to BSN programs. There's many universities that will accept that. Grand Canyon being one of those where I went. It was pretty seamless. It was mostly online, which was even better for a working person. I used to work 3 days full time at that time, and it was very self-paced, which was even better. There was no like set times for meetings or anything like that. Well, sometimes, but not all the time. So it was really great. And then it took me about 2 years to complete that. And the only time you would have to set aside time is when you're doing your practicum towards the end. It's like a big whole capstone project that you have to do. And that was it. It was pretty seamless, I would say.
That's awesome. And clearly you got a lot of flexibility to do, you know, to work while also focus on school. So let's talk about, you know, starting off as a nurse. How were the early years? Like any defining moments? Like when you first started, were you like freaked out? You're like, I don't know what I'm doing, or like, you know, like how has that been? You know, the very beginning to where you are now.
Absolutely, no, it's really terrifying starting out as a new grad. It is because they don't prepare you for the real world. They don't. You know what's in the books, but you don't really know how to deal with the emotional side of it.
Like the practical aspect of it.
Exactly. There's a lot of as a nurse, I feel like if you're not empathetic, sympathetic most times, it's going to be really difficult for the patients too. You really got to show that you're there for them. And I was working when I was 21, 22. So I feel like I was still very young to know what I was getting into. Well, I kind of sort of knew from what others said, but when I went and experienced it firsthand, I felt like I knew nothing. But I had great preceptors. Where I worked, I had great preceptors that had been nurses for decades at this point. They were very gentle with their, you know, teaching, with passing down their information, and they have some good information, let me tell you. They know how to get, you know, things done in the most efficient way, how to approach patients. It's very important that we know that. And it was great, but it was definitely terrifying. But again, having the resources, YouTube had been my best friend for so long because there's so many plethora of information out there. And no, it's really important that you start orienting at a good hospital, which I think I did. Shout out to them as well. Good hospital and just a good preceptor. And also there were also some few Nepali nurses there when I started.
Oh, that's awesome.
Who I could lean on during hard times.
So you had good mentors, basically, who helped you, learn, answer your questions.
Absolutely.
If you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, there were people to support you.
And I had a lot of questions, trust me.
That's good. Do you feel like you had to go through the phase of like imposter syndrome where you're like, I don't think I'm good enough, to be here, but you're like still fighting your way through it? Like, how did you overcome things like that?
I don't think I have overcome that yet.
Okay, that's fair. I love that honesty.
I think
fair.
I'm still working on it, but more so than now.
Okay,
right. So when I first came here, it started right there and then, ripe age of 17. It started there when I felt like, did I really belong here?
Right.
When I went to Nova, the accent barrier, that was a huge thing for me. I would be shy kind of to stand up and speak up in classes because what if they don't understand the way I'm pronouncing certain things?
Right.
Or just what if it's not relatable enough to them? But slowly I realized that it's really not that deep. It's really not that serious after all, because they're all 17, 18-year-old students. They're all figuring it out too. Born here, there, it doesn't matter. Like, we're very diverse here in America, especially in Nova area, I feel like. So it took me a couple years to realize that. And I feel like the dance club that I was in really helped me see through that, because we had people from everywhere with a common interest. With a common interest for dance, common interest for, expressing through dance. And I really felt like we're all really the same at the end of the day. So I think my imposter syndrome I started overcoming from then. Yes, it slowly worked its way. And when I started working, obviously, it came all right back to me. Like, am I good enough to be here? And when I started working, I was one of the youngest there.
Of course.
I was one of the youngest there, and I just felt like, wow, all these nurses with this
years,
many information, decades of information, knowledge. Do I belong? Am I ever going to measure up to where they are? But they would always give me hope and encourage me, and great managers and support system too. That was always there. And obviously can't forget my parents who kept reminding me, you can do this. You're smart.
Here for a reason. Like, you proved yourself. That's why you are
a smart girl. You got this, Like, shout out to my mom and dad for that.
Of course.
So that helped me. And I feel like even now today, I feel like when I'm in a room with these great people, I still feel like, do I still belong? But at the end of the day,
you do.
I do. I look in the mirror and I say, you got this. You know where you are, and you worked your way here.
Exactly. You've proven your worth. You clearly showed that you belong here, even if you're the youngest in the room. So I think that's very important. So I guess, like, all of those experiences, high school, college, to where you are now, looking back, do you think, like, do you wish there was, like, any piece of advice or guidance that someone like you would have given you that you would have probably given to, like, younger Pooja, looking back now?
Younger Pooja would have loved to hear that. Be kind to yourself. Don't be so harsh on yourself. You fail once, you fail twice, that's okay. There will be a third time and you will rise. I feel like many kids, especially coming from a brown family, don't get to hear that enough. Because of how harsh I wouldn't say culture, but how our upbringing is. It's like either this or nothing. But there's so many different things you can do. Especially here in America. I feel like you can do so many different things, and just put your heart and your mind to it. Just follow the path, follow your passion, you got this.
And I feel like that's, like, a big thing within, like, the brown community. It's like, I feel like we're very hard on ourselves. Like, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Like, even as a society, I feel like we're all very, like, hard on ourselves. But at the end of the day, like, if you fail, you can just try again. You will succeed. I feel like that's one thing that, we need,
especially in your 20s. I feel like it's the time to figure it out. Mess it up and do it all over again.
Exactly. Like, the messy, like, helps you figure out what you do like versus what you don't as well.
I feel like the more the mess, the more the clarity.
Exactly. So, like, don't be afraid to fail, for sure. And then you talked about dancing really briefly. briefly. So let's kind of talk about like hobbies and how you stay grounded and like, you know, how you focus on your mental health. Because I know, you know, being a nurse, obviously is a very high pace, stressful environment for sure. So how do you stay grounded? How do you take care of your mental health and all of that?
Yeah. So mental health, again, it's a very taboo that we don't talk about in a brown community. It's like mental health, what's wrong with you? You know? Nothing's wrong with nobody. It's just we're trying to figure it out, and we need some extra push in life. You know, that's what it is. Dance, though, really helps me with that because it feels like it's a release of all that tension and pressure that I have in me. You will catch me dancing in my living room for no reason. You will catch me dancing in my bedroom as I'm putting my makeup on. You know, I will play a nice music, whatever I feel like vibing to, and I'll be doing that. And I feel like people, if you have a way to release that tension in life and express how you feel, it doesn't matter, it might be behind closed doors, how you feel is really going to help long-term mentally because then you're not bottling it up. You're releasing it out somehow. And you know what they say, shake it a little bit if you want to, you know, feel better. So I think dancing really helped me in those sense, and I kind of like cut off from it from a while because of school and all of that, but now I'm trying to get back to it. I like performing. I also like, you know, teaching little kids how to dance.
That's awesome.
So that's fun. Yeah, and like I said, mental health is a big thing for everyone. I feel like not talked about enough. That's why I'm trying to get my nurse practitioner in psychiatric mental health because it helps me, I don't know, get connected to myself. I learn why I'm feeling a certain way, you know, but then also at the same time I will be able to help out so many 20, 30, 40-year-old and honestly people from all aspects of life figure out why they're feeling a certain way or why they have to go through these area of emotions. And I feel like that's very important, and I don't think we have enough of us doing that already, especially in the Nepali community. And I want people to feel like it's comfortable to go to a therapist or it's okay.
Like that's not taboo.
It's
like
not a taboo.
To ask for help.
Ask for help. Ask for the extra push. And in the brown community, I feel like it's not talked about enough, and I would like to talk about it even more when we get chances. When I'm in a room with, you know, my great nursing friends, I also talk to them about how this is why I'm going to nurse practitioner as a psychiatric because we don't have enough people doing that already, and I want to normalize it. Basically.
So that's kind of the push that drove you to go into that for your master's.
That too, and also I think because when I was growing up, like I said, struggling through all the insecurities and being hard on yourself, and I wish there was, I mean, obviously you can talk to your friends or family, but they can only do so much because they only have so much to fill your cup with.
Alight Media presents the Second Generation Talk podcast, a podcast by the second generation for the second generation.
So I wish I had that platform or that help some days. So I feel like I could be of that help to someone someday.
And I love that because clearly your passion shows for this, which I think is very important. I guess going off of that, like within our community, what do you wish more people knew about in terms of like mental health? Like you said, we don't talk about it enough, but is there like anything that you want to say to our audience today about like, you know, mental health, you know, within our community, like the importance of speaking up about it? Like what would you like them to know?
If you need help, please reach out. Please reach out to anyone who's around you. There are plenty of people who will be ready to help you in a heartbeat. You know, you're not alone in any of it. Life is a struggle. It keeps going on. There will always be one thing after another. Don't take it too hard on yourself, and it's just a part of the experience. Just go with the ride. But if you ever need help, please reach out. There's various organizations, various I don't know, groups of people who are willing to help, and it will obviously be very, I don't know, not public, you know. So
I mean,
please reach out.
And you guys are there to support people. It's not going to be public information. Everything you share will be private. So reaching out. Awesome. Okay, so I guess let's talk about some more hobbies. What else do you enjoy, Pooja? Like besides dance, like what else do you like? Traveling? Do you like, you know,
Oh yeah, traveling. Let's talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about travel. I feel like that's also an important part of mental health and balance and staying grounded. Yeah.
Speaking of traveling, I love traveling. Like, I feel like every other Gen Z millennial these days, we focus on mini retirements rather than just waiting until you're 64, 65.
Right. I agree.
And I think the importance of traveling really came into me right around or after COVID hit, because people started, I think not just me, a lot of us started realizing that life is really unpredictable. Really unpredictable. You gotta live one day at a time, and you gotta have goals in life. You gotta be mindful of what you want, but at the same time, don't wait around trying to get to that and missing out the important parts of life, which is every day. Every day. The mundane things can also be fun, which is traveling for me. I love planning a little travel with my family, my friends, my partner. You know, it's really fun to plan that, and I think that also plays into mental health aspect again, because having something to look forward to really gives you that boost in life. So I think that is also one of, I don't know if I would consider it my hobby yet, but it's definitely something I really enjoy doing.
Where would you say has been your favorite place to travel, like out of everywhere you've been so far? What would you say?
I would say, well, I haven't been to Nepal in a while, but I would really say Nepal was indeed my number one, because there's so much to do and so much to see. But except for Nepal, I would say Italy has been my second favorite because of how slow paced the life is over there. People are, like I said, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but people are doing one day at a time. They're enjoying their lunch. They're taking 2-hour lunch breaks. Obviously, it's not possible for most people here, but when you can, please do take your time, feel the, taste the palate. I don't know, just
enjoy the moment.
Be in the moment.
Which I feel like the European lifestyle does very well. I know it's kind of difficult here, but like you said, I feel like after COVID, like a lot of us realize life is very unpredictable. Like, we need to take advantage of every single moment. Okay, so let's talk about what's next after your master's? Like, what do you foresee yourself doing? I know you're already a nurse, but I guess what's the goal with your master's, and what do you want to do next with it?
So with my master's, obviously I have 1 more year to go. I will finish. I get my boards. That's just the academic part of it. But in the long term, I feel like I want to get out in the community and spread the word and help out people. I don't know, get involved in some organizations if I can, nonprofit for the most part, and see if I can just volunteer and help out, kids to adults, anyone who is in need, and make the best use of my education and knowledge. That's my long-term goal with this degree.
That's awesome. I guess personally, let's not talk about careers, but I guess like within the next 5 years, like personally, what do you also want?
That I don't know.
More travel, hopefully.
Definitely incorporating travel in my life. But honestly, I don't know. I'm just figuring out one day at a time. I feel like so far I only have my, if you ask me my 5-year plan, I just want to be happy and just make my family proud of me. Make my friends feel like they have a good friend at hand. And make the community feel like, okay, if we need someone to uplift their day, she's there.
Pooja makes every day, brighter, everyone happier. That's the goal, essentially. Okay, so let's just do like some broader reflections. Looking back, what do you think was one really big challenge that you faced that you're kind of grateful that you went through, because it kind of shaped who you are today? There's probably so many defining moments, but if you think of one.
No, it all goes back to when I first came here, because after that it just feels like one big, blob. I feel like defining would be when I came here first, and like I said, the accent challenge. I feel like most kids go through that, and I have a sibling who was also getting bullied at school, and that was really a defining moment, because we didn't really get to experience that in Nepal. I'm sure it happens, but at a much smaller scale. At least where we're from. So that was really a defining moment, because I felt like we didn't know who to reach out to in that case, how this could be resolved. And I feel like that was really a defining moment, because at that point I was like, okay, gotta stand up for ourselves. Stand up for the kid, because he's much younger than I am. And really be that second parent, which most elder daughters do, I believe. And I think that's when the nurturing part of me me really start to arise.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you overcame that
Yeah.
and realized, just gotta be who you are.
Yeah.
Can't take the cruel words that
Yes,
people
yes,
say.
fight back.
For
Yeah.
sure. Okay, so I guess another overall question would just be, just looking back at, your entire journey and any other pieces of advice that you think younger Pooja or anyone in our audience trying to figure out if they want to be in this field or not, any other piece of advice that you'd like to give?
Oh yeah, nursing is not for the faint of heart.
Okay.
I'll start with that.
Okay.
Like I said, you gotta forget who you are for a few minutes and just be in their shoes. It's very important that you do that as a nurse. No matter where you work, hospital, outpatient, even if you're working in what we call soft nursing is what outpatient clinics are. Even if you're doing that, at the end of the day, those patients are there because they need you and they need your help and they need the care that you're going to provide.
Right.
So if you're trying to get in this field, academic-wise, it is a bit challenging, but it's definitely attainable. But mentally and emotionally, it does take some out of you.
Right.
So please be sure you're aware of that. And if you ever need to know more about it, I'm always here. You can always contact me. But yeah, it's attainable, and don't let them say otherwise. You got this. You got this.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. So one of my other favorite questions to ask people is, in another universe, do you think Pooja would have done something different? Picked a different career path, chosen something completely different? Do you think she would have? And if so, what do you think she would have done?
For the longest time, and it also again ties to why I'm doing my nurse practitioner in psychiatric,
Right.
I wanted to be a psychiatrist for the longest time.
Okay.
And the reality hit, and I felt like being a psychiatric was a long step process versus going into nursing school and then going this route.
Right.
So I feel like if I had to choose and if I got to redo this life or next life, then I would have probably opted for going into psychiatric health from the very beginning.
Okay.
I feel like I would do that, but I feel like it's still in the same area of what I'm doing right now.
Right.
So kind of yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Any regrets? From any aspect of your life, do you feel like you've had any regrets, or are you grateful for, all the mistakes, all the failures?
No, definitely. All the mistakes, failures, hard times have shaped me into who I am today, and I am more resilient than ever.
Right.
Regrets, no, but if I could go back and say one more thing, I would be kinder to my parents. I feel like I felt as if they could do better. Like most brown kids feel that way, I feel like, because we're being, constantly compared. I know it's their way of showing love for most of us. It's their way of showing love by saying they're doing this, they're doing that. They're trying to encourage you, but I think there's a better way to do that. But again, like I said, it's their first time figuring this out too. And as the eldest, you take the most of it.
Yeah, I feel like we were always the trial children.
The child children, yes, the demo, the guinea pig. I don't know. But I feel like that is one thing I would do better, is be kinder to them and see them through different lenses. But again, it's difficult to think and feel that way when you're a teen. But if one thing I would change would be that. But other than that, I feel like I'm pretty grateful for what I went through.
Because like you said, at the end of the day, they're living their life for the first time. They're figuring it out too. But it's like when you're a teenager also with the pressure of life and trying to figure it out, it's hard to see that lens. You're like, why are they comparing me to people? But they meant it, in
a positive way. They wanted to help see us the better. But I think it's what they knew best. And
hopefully, with growing over time, they figured out there's better ways to do that.
And when I say parents, I don't just mean my parents. I feel like brown parents overall, generally, and the brown kids, first generation especially, who come from Nepal, like even back home in Nepal, I feel like they go through this on a, if not daily basis, very frequently. So I feel like that could be changed. But other than that, I feel like Nepali community, it's getting stronger and growing every day. And I see kids our generation, the 20s kids, the mid-20s kids doing great things like yourself. You're really going after your passion and career. And I feel like that we also owe it to our parents, because I feel like if they hadn't pushed us this hard, would we really be where we are today, or would we still be struggling?
That's very fair.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Any last piece of advice, Pooja, like based on anything we talked about, your own experiences, anything you'd like to share with our audience today?
You know, life is short. Have fun. It's like I said again, I'm gonna say it until I feel like my last breath that it's really not that deep.
Right.
You know, people aren't judging you. People aren't judging. They're all doing their own thing, figuring out life one day at a time. So just have fun and make friends.
Right.
You know, friends are very important in life. The good ones are really important
Right,
in
of
life.
course.
It's hard to pick and choose, but just have fun and live your life. And don't worry about what the others have to say.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
You're
Pooja. I feel like
welcome.
we've learned so much. You gave great advice, and
Thank
I can't
you.
wish to, I wish you the very best.
Thank you
and can't
so
wait to
much.
see everything you accomplish.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for watching The Second Generation Talk, a podcast by the second generation for the second generation. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow our YouTube channel, and be sure to look out for more episodes. Thanks for watching.